Welcome back to the Manor Entropians, or I should say welcome to McBain Manor New Entropians. Julian McBain here. And today I am going to go through some of the things you're going to need to know when you first come to Calypso. And so, first off, the loadout you're going to have, when you arrive here at Camp Icarus, you'll have done some of the beginner missions, but it's going to bring you back here to Camp Icarus. You're going to be carrying one of these, which is the Soulmate Rubio. It's a very basic, it's an entry-level rifle. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's extremely ammo efficient. It only uses 73 ammo per shot. It has a good attack per minute. Its efficiency is 53.1, which is not terrible. It has exceptional durability, which is good because it only has a 9 pec TT value, which we're going to get into. But it's a good starter rifle. And in fact, you're not going to be wearing these clothes that I'm wearing. You'll be wearing a jumpsuit. But the clothes in the jumpsuit have the same armor ability, which is to say, none. But just as an example to show you what kind of damage it'll do to a puny and what it would be like hunting with it, we're going to come out here to the hunting fields for a minute as you start your very first Codex missions. As you can see, the punies take quite a bit of damage from the rifle. And I'm carrying a boatload of ammo, so obviously I'm able to do a lot. Let's see if I can find the Codatergus in the Codex. Here it is. Let's track that for a minute. Oh, that one did a nice crit. And as you can see, you're going to get percentage in your Codatergus challenge, and that is going to give you skills, which after completing the challenge, you'd go into your Codex and hit Claim Reward, which I have one for drones that I had last night. It's going to look very similar to this. The amounts are going to start out smaller than this, but they grow over time as you complete each rank. And in this case, I'll come back here and decide what reward. Oh, looks like I got one for Aatrox too. And so, really, you're going to be spending quite a bit of time here building skills and hunting Codatergus. And be prepared to do that. Now, they don't have the puny iron mission anymore, but back when they did, you needed to complete it to really get the skills you needed. And it was 16,600 individual mobs. I'm not making that up. So, when you come to Camp Icarus, there's a few things you're going to notice. You've got the gauntlet entrance here, which requires a second person. You don't want to do that right away. It really does require some skills to complete. You're going to want to come up here to the second level, and you're going to want to talk to Alex Buchan. Alex Buchan sends you on a set of mission chains. The net result of those mission chains is this: Buchan's spare rifle. Now, I have the adjusted rifle, which is after a second mission chain to follow up with. I'm going to remove the amp that I put on it, which was dead anyway, pretty much. Oh yeah, didn't even have another shot left. Look at that. But as you can see, it's got decent stats, especially compared to the Rubio. It's also got a higher efficiency, and if you put a B101 on it, which is an amp that you can find, that you can actually pick up amps, the B101s off the Codatergus we just went after. I usually find them on drones, which are out in this region. I'm sure you can see all of the videos I do in Orthos oil field, but they do help up your efficiency. So like this is a B101. If I drop it on the Rubio, or actually let's do this. Let's detach. I'm going to pin that. And we're going to attach. Oh, okay. You know what? I have more Rubios. Let's do this. So, basic Rubio does 1.5 to 3 damage. The amped Rubio does 2 to 4 damage because it has the extra burn damage go in there. And because the Rubio has a lower ability than the amp that's on it, it's not at full efficiency, but it does increase its total efficiency to 56.1, which means you are creating more damage over time and you're spending less ped to kill a mob, is what it comes down to. So this is Camp Icarus. A few things to notice. These are ad boards. You can actually purchase ads if you find an ad terminal. I believe there's one in Twin Peaks. And they're not super expensive, but as you progress, if you do things like you buy a land area, or you have things to sell, or a shop, or you start an event, or if you're a YouTuber LoreSpade actually ran ads on the boards. This is where you'll find those ads, and you can get a lot of cool information here. So it's always worth kind of looking and letting it marquee through for a few minutes. Then you have the basic terminals. This is the trade terminal. And here you can buy ammo if you're not buying it off the web shop. I strongly recommend buying universal ammo off the web shop and limiting the amount of ammo you buy out of here, but to each their own. If you're doing free to play, this is where you would buy all your ammo. So that's that piece. You can also buy very basic armor. And by very basic, I mean very basic. It's ones across the board. I believe it's that way for all the pieces. Let me see the harness, which is always the most powerful piece. Oh yeah, it's all ones across the board. Has extremely high durability. Takes a really long time to wear out. It's not expensive. You can buy the whole set for 20 PED, which is $2 US. And it lasts a really long time, and it'll make you more durable, especially doing things like hunting cod adergis. That being said, it does cost money, and you can't repair it because it's a limited item. In fact, I believe everything in here is a limited item. Or it's an ammunition. And you do have male and female versions of armor. They don't differ very much, except the harness, which I won't go on a tirade about boob armor, but there it is. The net result is, if you use armor, it's going to cost you more, but your hunting will be more sustainable. This is the repair terminal, and this is where you repair all of your repairable items, anything that does not have an L or isn't ammo. So, if you use Buchan's spare rifle, this is where you'd repair it. You'd come here, you can either drag items on here, which of course I've already repaired everything, so unfortunately I can't. You know what? We'll do this. As you can see, I'm utilizing the rifle, which used some of the TT value of it, in this case a single peck or cent. And for those of you who don't know, PED and peck, Project Entropia dollars, or PED, and Project Entropia cents, or PEC. I just call them PED or peck. Some YouTubers do that. Others actually call them PEDs or PECs. And then you have LoreSpade, who just calls them dollars and cents and just expects you to know, which you should, that they're Project Entropia dollars and cents because it's very in-world and we're not talking US dollars and cents. But we go to the repair terminal. I can drag the rifle in, and it didn't even do enough to actually cost me any pack. And I can repair. Alternatively, whoops, I can hit weapons and all my weapons will populate. Or I can hit all and all my items will populate. I think I did so little. Oh god, did I just freeze this sucker up? Come on. That's not good. Okay, that works. We'll figure that out later. So, trade terminal. Oh, other things at the trade terminal. This is also where you buy your mining equipment. So, this is your basic excavator. You do get one of these in the starter zone. You get most of this in the starter zone. Your refiner helps you to refine the core ores into bars. So, for instance, oh, that's in my storage terminal. I'll show you in a minute. The detectionator is what lets you drop probes, which is a type of ammo, to find the ores and the energy matters that are in the ground. And I will do a whole separate thing on mining in a different video. Tools. This is the Investifo, which is probably the most neglected item in the trade terminal. This allows you to scan mobs. And what scanning mobs does is it gives you skills that will work toward your looter professions, which means that you're looting mobs more efficiently, which means you're losing less ped on the hunt, and eventually you're making ped. This is the distractor. It uses decoys, which is a type of ammo. I have never used decoys. I don't see the point. I mean, there is a point. You can drop a decoy, the mobs attack the decoy, you can shoot the mobs and you're not taking damage. But for the price, it's 4. Is it really 4 ped a decoy? Oh no, it's 25 peck per decoy. That makes far more sense. So, but still, that's a lot of money to put into just distracting mobs. And then you got the Terratech PH1, which is it's a tree saw. You go and you saw down trees, and this is probably the most ridiculous looking saw I've ever seen, having actually used a chainsaw in the past. But you can go, you find trees that have a little yellow dot on them, you can chop them down, they get turned into planks, which of course are then saleable for some pretty good markup actually. It does take time for you to get those skills up, but you can get some pretty solid markup on boards once you get the skills to harvest the right ones. Then you have medical. This is your basic heal FAP, which is a fast aid pack. This will do your paramedic skills, it'll heal you up. Trying to heal while you're fighting something with a lot of FAPs is difficult at first. Over time, they do get better. You can get a really good one running Gauntlet. This is the implant inserter. So in order to use Mind Force skills, you have to have Mind Force chips. Mind Force chips look like this. So this is a combustive attack node chip. I can throw fireballs. But to use it, I need to have a Neo-Scion implant put into my head. That's what this is. And actually, I've got a better one here that I'm going to use. In order to put that in, you need to use the implant inserter. So, if you bought these items and you went to insert them, that's odd. Is it not going to let me insert? Oh, I have to remove the existing one. Okay, here we go. That's right, folks. You get to conduct surgery on yourself with what is essentially really disturbing, actually. Oh. Wait, we attach them? We do attach them. I've only done it once. Yes. And notice how much it hurts to do that. I'm surprised it doesn't take any health away. It probably should. Okay, enough of that. But that's how you use Mind Force. And now I can equip Mind Force chips, which I do have a couple equipped, as you can see. No, we were on medical. Anti-toxic shots. So there are areas such as the contaminated zone up here, which is lootable PvP. And then this is Mount Hephaestus, and that is also PvP. It is not lootable, but it is toxic. I need to actually go visit. I'm going to need to do a video there just to see what it looks like. I've never been there before because it's toxic, and I've never bought a toxic shot. It's 5 ped per shot. I don't even know how long it lasts. How long does this last? Oh, until you're killed by another user. So even if you die by a mob, you should be fine. So, I mean, technically, it could be indefinite. The irony being, if you do that, the respawn point for Mount Hephaestus is a boat. And you can't put any of your spaceships down, which is very funny, actually. This is an empty enhancer component. You use these to craft enhancers for your weapons. That's more complex, and that's a crafting thing, so I'm not really going to get into that. And then for miscellaneous, you've got loot collection pills, which is for auto loot. They're not super expensive. Well, they're not expensive at all. For what, like 5 pek per? 50 pek per. And I think they last an hour. 1 hour. A lot of people use them. I use the ones that get out of strong boxes. I've never bought them. Although, having done so, I've currently got like a 3-day one active. I might switch. I might be convinced to switch. Because I'm pretty sure that the money you put into the loot pills is added to the loot pool. And they're not very expensive per hour. And then nano cubes, which are used for certain crafting items. Over here, you have the storage terminal, which allows you to store all your items. As you can see, I've got a shitload of Rubios. Catch me in game. Ask me to buy one. I don't put a lot of markup on them. Hashtag shameless self-promotion. I've got a few guns in here that I don't quite know what to do with yet. Like, you've got this A&P. I think it's got some pretty good markup. Yeah, 161, but I don't know if it sells when it's damaged. Most of them do when they're that level. But as you can see, these are all the weapons I've accumulated over time. I still have my EWE EP1 Neutron. Still has a good chunk of its health left, actually. Almost half. But before, when I said the refiner, so like, if you drill for ores and you get Wisterium Stone, you put them into that refiner that I showed you earlier, which is this right here, the Genesis Basic Star, and you end up with ingots. And that's used for crafting. So that's the storage terminal, pretty basic. Next up is the auctioneers. Some planets do this, or not some, some planets do this as a terminal. Calypso and most of them do them as an NPC. It's one of the most commonly used NPCs. And as you can see, there's plenty of items up for bid. We're going to start with something kind of basic. Let's go to guns, because most of you are gun tote. Oh, explosives. Okay, I'm like, when do you sell ammo? No, it's all explosive projectiles. Lots and lots of explosive projectiles. So for ranged weapons, these are your ranged weapons. Let's go rifles. Let's go... Are there any Gauss weapons? No. Laser weapons. So this is a list of all of the laser weapons. You can see someone selling a Rubio for 2 ped. I don't know why. And you can sort them by most and least expensive. So like Zora's HK, which is just absurdly expensive. They want 15,063 ped for buyout, 9,000 for a bid. Just so that if you're new to this game, 9,000 ped is $900 US. Yeah. For this gun. Which from... Oh, and it doesn't even... It's not even repaired. Oh my god. I mean, it's an excellent gun. It does 145 damage at the peak. I can't even use it effectively. But it's just... Yeah. Some of this stuff gets expensive over time. But most of them are for pretty decent markup. So this here will be the quantity, which for guns will always be 1, but for resources, like minerals, as you can see, there's like 106, 27. For the next one is value. That's the total trade terminal value, or TT value, that's left on the weapon. You always want to purchase your weapons with full TT if they are stock weapons, which are your crafted weapons, such as your LR40s or any of the R Matrix series. And a lot of your ISIS series are going to be, you're going to treat the same way, although those are all drops to my knowledge. But this is the total TT value. And if you're ever questioned, you can always hit the I here. Click on the I there, and that tells you if it's full TT or not. It is. So this is how much it has left. And this is the total when it's full. So if it says 45 of 85, it's down to almost half. This is the total markup if you're going to put a bid on. So this is the total TT value it's worth. This is the bid they're asking for. And if you're going to bid on the weapon and compete against other players, which means you're not going to get it right away, that's going to be taken off your PED card and stored by the auctioneer until someone outbids you or until you win. This is the total markup, 114.12. If you punch this into a calculator, 97 PED is 14.12% higher than 85 PED. So it's at 114.12. That's the total value. The buyout is if you pay this amount, you automatically win. In this case, they happen to be the same. That's not always the case. Let's see if we can't find one that isn't. So as you can see here, 115 for bid, but to buy it out, you've got to do 117.89, which is probably a 1 or 2 PED difference. So in order to bid to buy a weapon, let's go after one that I can or I would use. So let's search LB30. You select the weapon, double click on it. It pops open. You can select to bid, or you can see how much it's going to cost. In this case, the bid and the buyout are the same. You can never go lower than the floor. And then you hit place bid, and then you'd accept. In this case, if I hit place bid and accept, I'd automatically buy the weapon. I don't need a sword right now, so I'm not going to do that. But it works for everything in the auction house. Other things that you should keep in mind, and this is one that you're going to really want to look into. We're going to go into vehicles. Let's close weapons here. Air, because I don't think any spacecraft are going to be listed. Nope. Oh, probably should cancel that. Ha! Nope. Spacecraft. I have seen spacecraft listed 2 or 3 times in the 2.5 years I've played Entropia Universe. The 2 things you're really going to want to look into buying is a Sleipnir, which is this ship. It's extremely fuel efficient. It is space worthy, but you don't want to fly it through space. And you can actually paint it, which is pretty cool. This is its armor. These are all its armor values. It has some pretty decent armor values, but you don't want to end up against pirates in it. And it can carry rockets and a Gatling gun. Again, it's not this most super defensible, but it's highly efficient inside of that. It's highly fuel efficient, especially inside of atmosphere. In space, it's far less so because you're going to end up going the distance anyway. The other one is a quad wing interceptor. That's this. As you can see, it's much tougher than the Sleipnir. You can also pick up Kismet lasers for it, which are what you use to hunt mobs in space. It's also twice as fast as the Sleipnir, but it goes through twice as much fuel. So when you come here, when you finally make it here to Camp Icarus, the person you're going to start speaking to is Captain Hayes. He's going to give you some missions. In all likelihood, I believe one of them is to hunt the Triptodons down there. He might give you a mission to kill some of the Punies up here. But the person you really want to speak to is Alex. Talk to Alex. Follow his missions. I think there's 4 or 5 of them. And you get Buchan's spare rifle. And it's overall, it's a far better gun than most of the dropped limited weapons you'll get to begin with. This right here is why this is called the parking lot. As you can see, people like to drop their vehicles here. This is the Explorer. I have one of these. It's a functional Jeep. It used to be the starter vehicle that eventually got replaced by the Valkyrie. The funny thing is, it used to be red, and then after the graphical interface, it was a bright neon garish color. I know I've got a video somewhere in there showing how it looked. And then all of these not Ford Mustangs. And I'm pretty sure the Dragonfly is based on a Kiowa. So that's the basics of what you're going to find at Camp Icarus. When you come to Camp Icarus, my recommendation is do the Caudatargus challenge, hunting the Punies. It's going to take you a long time. There's going to be a lot of grind. You might have to buy some ammo. You may have to go sweat mobs if you're trying the free-to-play model, and I'm going to get into that in a different video on how to do that, how to get there. But it's worth the time. If you want to play this game, you need to develop the skills in order to play it effectively. And that is the way to do it. So, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Please like, share, and subscribe down below. We are on the road to 13 million subscribers, one subscription at a time. So make sure you subscribe. Also, if you enjoy my content, maybe you're a veteran player who watches this because you want to support me. Maybe you're a brand new player who has never seen Entropia content before. Please consider becoming a patron. I will put the link in the description. You can also, when you become a patron, you get, for digital download, you get a copy of my book, my ebook, The Modern Entropian. There's a lot of good information in there, especially for beginners. So, thank you so much for all of your support. We will see you next time.